Alright, we're about to go into a fairly long stage, 20 minutes, so let's see if I can actually keep talking through this whole thing and hopefully say something interesting even. But yeah, the graphics in this game are really nice. I have messed with the paint menu a little bit. They've added a lot more options since even Breaker 2. I need to spend a lot of time with it before I even know what's really going on with it. You'll see me use it briefly, or at least see the outcome of using it briefly a week after this, because I did put together when I was done with with using Exia for a while, I did put together a new monstrosity. But as people requested, I tried to put on something like a Jagan Arms. I tried to put something resembling a coordinated paint job on it. I just basically did it pretty fast and off the cuff without thinking about it, but you know, it looks better than the mishmash, I guess. I kind of like the mishmash, but, you know, you'll see it next week. And, let's see, one of those left. Not even worth using my EX on, I don't think. Got that one. Oh, there's something worth using my EX on, a Death Scythe Hell. And there's that. And a large J-gun, which I tried to use my EX on and wasn't really successful. Got a Death Scythe Hell arm and backpack set. It can use its no, that's the Hyper Jammer, I believe. It can use that to become invisible. Got a rare head for the thing, got a beam scissors, got some kind, one of the gold add-on parts that you can use to upgrade your parts. I'm not quite sure how they work yet. I think it's the materials merge that you add those through. I forget the specific name for that, but yeah, where you can use like raw plastic to upgrade parts, that's where that comes in. So I believe Zala is in a, yep, he's in the Sinanju, so we're doing pretty well at the moment. I've got another Slash Tempest when it's needed. I don't think it's needed yet. Just waiting. Yeah, that looks like a good angle, so let's do it. Okay. And more stabbing, then knock his backpack off. I think Zala got an arm. And some good stabs in there. Some good juggling. And it's dead. I see at least one box up on the hill I can open, so I'll probably get over towards that when I can. But there's things to kill over here, like whatever that wheel is called. I forget what those are called, but they're something from Victory Gundam. Ack. And like most vehicles, if I get run over by it, I will at minimum get knocked back and much more likely get smashed to bits temporarily. Now it's time for some Trans Am. Which again, I still need to master, which I will probably end up doing in the bounty hunter modes I do for the weekends, so. And Mirage Shot, I think, or whatever its sequel is. Upgrade sequel, you get the idea. Endless Vault Sandrock. Standard Gundam Shield, which is and a bunch of guys trying to stab me and it's not working out for them. Trans Am's almost wound down, but I've managed to get a pretty good number of kills and combos in while it was going. And let's see. Stab the J-gun. That's done. There must have been like a lead mobile suit here, because I think when it got killed, everything else disappeared. Shenlong Gundam arm, or head, and another J-gun part. And I'm just hanging around talking to them, and you can't hear right now. Apologies for that, but I wanted to make sure Zala got a shot at that loot box before we moved on, so. But it's time to move on. And here we go. Any second now. loading screens. I saw a fun Twitter thread earlier. It was a bunch of game developers talking about little tricks that they used, or new people had used. Active Booster, not quite sure what that does. You know, tricks from games to make things better for the player. Little things you may not notice happening, but just make the experience more pleasant in general. There are an awful lot of games where if you are not facing an enemy that is pursuing you, they will move slower. A lot of games that give you extra damage if you're down to one bullet. The extreme of that, it turns out, in Silent Hill, the original for PS1, when you run out of ammunition for everything, the last boss dies. If you show up with no ammo, it just keels over. Okay, so Death Sight Hells, but no, my favorite of those. In the original Suikoden for the PS1, it actually changes your encounter rate based on the way you're walking. And this is genius, and I hope this has become a standard thing for JRPGs, because it's brilliant. If you're walking in a straight line, it assumes that you are walking with a purpose, that you're trying to get to a place, and because you're trying to get to a place, and distractions when you're doing that are annoying, it drops the encounter rate. If your walking is erratic, if you're going in a bunch of different directions, making a lot of turns, going in circles, it assumes you're trying to level grind, so it raises the encounter rate for you. Which, again, that's just kind of freaking brilliant. And again, that's, you know, that solves a major problem with a lot of earlier JRPGs, which is that whenever you want encounters, they take forever to show up. Whenever you don't want them, there's 1,000 of them. And, you know, that is just the most natural thing for encounter rates. And it's just like I said, it's genius. I love that. Sadly, of course, because this was on English-speaking Twitter, these are things, you know, the things that came from Japanese games like Suikoden were secondhand. I would love to hear Japanese developers talk about these things. Of course, as one or two of them who did talk to some of the U.S. developers said, the problem is that unless it's a very old game, they actually have to get permission from their company to tell you anything, which, you know, I guess is a standard thing for most businesses if they thought to cover things like that. And Japan does, because I guess, you know, trade secrets and the like. But, yeah, just... I'm not a big fan of things that are that restricted, even if there's good reason for them. That's just me. Again, I'm sure that in many cases there are good reasons for those things, but just not a fan. But it's time for Trans Am, and time to get stabbing some folks. And recover. I didn't notice I was on the ground because there was so much action in front of me. I thought I was still running around slashing things, and it's only when whoever was in front of me, maybe it was Zala, moved out of frame is when I realized I was, you know, flat on my back and needed to be getting up and moving and not wasting my Trans Am on the ground. But, okay, it's almost over. Enemy player approaching. I might have a little bit of Trans Am left for that. I'm not going to be able to do a lot of damage, but yeah, I don't know who designed that, but isn't that Zeong thing neat? It's got a Zeong skirt, I think a Sinanju torso, Gerbera Tetra arms, and I went to first mode, and I think a Dom Tropin head. And it's just something about it. It's brilliant. It's really, really cool looking. And it's got some kind of backpack too. I'm not quite sure which one. But yeah, it's just, that thing is so cool. That's why I'm smashing to pieces now. And I managed to hit, got Goof custom arms off of somebody. But yeah, that thing, I liked that design. Whoever, you know, if you're the person who, if that's your gunpla that you just recognized in this video, well, you know, drop me a reply, tell me, you know, if it has a name or something, I'd love to know it. And the exact recipe you use, that would be cool too, because that thing is just really cool. And again, I really like the feature in this game that you're fighting, when it says enemy player approaching, you are actually fighting a genuine other player's mobile suit. That is a real thing that is happening, and that is just fantastic. You know, it's... I like features... I like online features like that don't require your presence, that don't require you to put yourself through the rigors, let's say, of online multiplayer, of, you know, versus play. Because I don't always enjoy PvP. With a good group and good friends, I do. But not always. And I like things like this and like Dragon's Dogma, where you can get benefits from your connection without having to actively be connected to other players and fighting them. So that is a really cool feature. I really like how that's used here. And I want to say Dark Souls does the things like that too, but I'll be honest, I have not played Dark Souls since the second one. I didn't play that for more than a decade. It was just... Well, you can see how much I'm enjoying this Dynasty Warriors style mayhem. Dark Souls... Deliberate, thoughtful action is not always my forte. And I don't know. I don't deny that it's a good game and a very well done game, but it's the kind of thing I have to be in a very specific mood for, and I tend to play Monster Hunter when I'm in that mood. Or occasionally Dragon's Dogma, which I think Osiris Cry recommended to me once upon a time. Wound up with it as a birthday gift from my uncle after that. Yeah, fun game. Instead of Rick Diaz arms, what I really want is some more Turn A parts, because, you know, Turn A's cool. And they're red, so they're fairly powerful. Yes, and then stop knocking it away, and hop, and oh, come on. Physics engine. Its legs were knocked off, and it kept bumping into them, so it kept knocking it further into the corner, which is just ridiculous. But I got it, and I got some Turn A parts. I think I got its rifle and a couple other bits. More Rick Diaz Quattro type parts. It's weird because most of these Rick Diaz's seem to be the standard type, the Apolly and Roberto type. Oh well, what do I know? I wonder if the weapons work differently. That was one of the things in Aeug vs. Titans and Gundam vs. Zeta Gundam in distant past of the Gundam vs. series. The two Rick Diaz's actually, their weapons worked slightly differently. I forget what the specifics were, but like sub-weapons in particular were different. And let's see. I've got all my bits back. I got a Shenlong shield. And... Yep, got it with a shot. And I'm Trans Am again, so... Yeah, they really like their Pontiacs in Gundam, don't they? Managed to break its guard and then break it. And there's another one, which... I guess it disappeared when we killed the main thing, or Zala got it while I was up in the air. And there's that... Okay, it's a Tallgeese chest. But there's that nifty Zeong thing again. And yeah, again, just really like that design. Very well done. Slash Tempest went right past it, but I did manage to knock off about half of its guard. And now I've started knocking off parts, so... This will not hopefully take long. Okay, its super armor's toast, so I just have to stay on it. Right now it's down to one arm. If I can knock the skirt off, it'll be sitting still. But right now it is a skirt and a torso, which actually means I can't, you know, one-hit it. But I can, you know, keep smacking it around while before it can attack again. It's recovered, but I did about half its health in that volley. That's pretty good. And, ooh, a lot of rare parts over there. So once I can knock this apart. Kyakushiki's body, Goof Custom Heat Saber, Goof legs. And it's got a lot of health left. Luckily, up against the rock, I got most of Slash Tempest with it, so... Juggled it into the air, knocked it down. I mean, I'm trying to keep up a good running commentary when I'm not talking about another subject, but you know, what's to say? I'm pressing square with occasional burst of triangle. And sometimes circle, because I have switched my GN daggers as my sub-weapon, because I'm not really in much danger of needing my repair kits for a lot of this. See, just waiting to make sure I think that Zala's ready. Probably having a conversation again, but we're moving along. And about 5 minutes left of this, so probably a boss fight and then some more parts juggling. Yeah, this is boss arena, alright. Wing Gundams, some Ricky asses, and did you see that little, like, John Woo flip that thing just did? I understand that there's, like, a fixed set of moves for each weapon type, but, I mean, you've seen the Rick DS. It's basically a Dom type. It is a chunky dude, and just imagining it doing, you know, John Woo Gun Fu just because it happens to carry 2 beam pistols is a little bit much. That said, I do like the beam pistols. They're a nice design. And got a rare Rick DS head. And that thing barely qualifies as a head. It's a dome with a camera on it. And there's a Wing Gundam that I'm smacking around. And pardon if you hear any clicking or clunks, but I'm holding the microphone by the stand because if I get it closer to myself, I get a better sound, so... And hunching over for 20 minutes is not in the picture. Clay Bazooka was the last pickup, the Rick DS and Hyakushiki's bazooka design. And I think that's some sort of gem I just smacked to death. And let's see, Wing Gundam head, that's good, especially in the rare one. And I think that's all the flunkies, so we're about to fight a pair of Master Grade Tall Geese. God, how do you further pluralize geese? Tall geeses? It just doesn't, it doesn't scan. So yeah, a pair of tall geese. And, let's see, I got some of the flunkies with Mirage Shot. If the more hits you can do, the more your burst gauge, the longer your burst gauge lasts. So, if I can stay in the fray here and keep hitting things, I can keep it going longer than just standing back. So, that said though, it's about time for my 3-hit ender. And there it was. And that did get one of the tall geese, I believe. Now I just have to get the other one. Let's see, with a Wing Beam Saber. Probably Wing and Tall Geese use the same model, but a bunch of Tall Geese parts is the short version. And yeah, I've got its super armor off, so I can now just pelt it around the screen. If I can get the torso separated from the body, I can one-shot it. It's just a matter of doing that. And of course, Zala's comboing too, and there it goes. So, big pile of parts, mission complete. And, you know, victory. And Robota said something I could not recognize. Oh well. Okay, so Zala came in first in points for this one. By a good margin, too. And I learned Moonlight Butterfly. I thought it was Wings of Light at first because I saw, but the first one is not light. The second one's light, the first one is moon. I also got the Death Size Hyper Jammer. So many beam sabers. A pair of wing beam sabers, both rare, 1-up saber DPS, definitely keeping that. Goof Custom Heat Saber, Gundam Mark II beam saber, Hyakushiki beam saber, 17,000 wing beam sabers, selling now. Keeping the level 8. And, let's see, a pair of Sandrock Heat Shotels and a pair of Turn A Beam Sabers. A lot of the Beam Scissors, the upgraded Beam Scythe for Death Scythe Hell Custom. Keeping the highest level one of those because there's no rares. Got a rare Brawling MS hand and some higher level standard ones, which I'll, again, be keeping the highest level thereof. You can tell the difference between, you know, there was some discussion in Breaker 2 what to call the two styles, and we settled, I think, on Brawling and Martial Arts. Brawling is the closed fist, and Martial Arts is the shining / god / burning / darkness finger hand design. Rick DS head, rare, with extra health. Wing Gundam head, with extra Gatling DPS. Death Scythe Hell rare head, shooting damage, I think? Something like that. Dom and Dom Tropin heads, Rick DS head, Jim 2, J-Gun heads, Death Scythe Hell heads that are not rare, but are higher level. So hang on to the level 8 of that so I can merge them all together. I've kind of been sticking to, and Tall Geese heads, by the way, kind of been sticking to trying to merge all parts of a same mobile suit together and not do cross-merging just to stay sane and get the best possible version of each individual mobile suit. But I'm probably going to exceed that at some point. From the top, Hyakushiki, Turn A, Rick DS, Hyakushiki again, but not rare, and a couple others that I missed. From the top, rare J-Gun arms, uncommon Goof Custom, 2 sets of uncommon Death Scythe Hell, and 1 uncommon Turn A. Standard Goof Custom below that. Gerbera Tetra below that, so if I want to start building that weird Zeong hybrid thing, I could. Standard Rick DS arms, couple of sets of Gym 2 arms, keep the level 7s probably. Level 8 J-Gun arms, level 6 D-Hell custom arms, 4 sets of Tall Geese arms, highest level is 6. And 2 sets of Turn A Gundam arms, of which the highest level is 8. And lastly, no, there's 2 more. Okay. But uncommon Goof legs. Standard Goof legs of a higher level, but I think I have better at home. Zeong skirt, level 7, keeping that. Gym 2 legs, Wing Gundam legs, D-Hell legs, Tall Geese legs, and Turn A Gundam. Okay, here in backpacks we've got D-Hell, the Camphor, J-Gun, Banshee Norn, 3 different ones of those, keep the highest level of course. Death Scythe Hell, like 6 backpacks for that. Below that, Gundam Heavy Arms, and below that, Tall Geese. We've got shields coming up. I don't think I got a lot of those, but so this is going to do it for Exia Week. There might be 1 or 2 more Exias. Okay, Jagan, Gundam Heavy Arms, Endless Waltz, and Shenglong, but this is going to do it for Exia Week. Might be 1 more Exia video, maybe 2 next week. And then probably bounties on the weekend. But until then, everybody take care and have fun. Later!